Okay, so we're now ready to do some genuinely tricky HQ factorizations. These are ones where you definitely wouldn't want to have to do them using the technique that I learnt when I was at school, and even dividing up that middle term would be incredibly difficult without the special skill that I taught you in the previous video. Let's have a look at our first one. We know that what we're wanting to do is split that middle term up in such a way that it will facilitate grouping. Now, how do we split up that middle term? We know that what we're looking for are a y1 and a y2. Obviously, our y1 is our m minus the difference, and our y2 is our m plus the difference. And the m and the d can be found according to what we would normally want our sum and difference to be. In this case, we want our two numbers to add to give b, which is negative 700, and to multiply to give AC, which is 96, times 561, which is a whopping 53856. Now, we definitely would not want to have to fiddle with that and try to work out the factors there. So what we're going to do now is we're going to work out our m and our d and proceed from there. So m is our sum divided by 2. That's nice and easy to work out. So our m is going to be negative 350. Our d is also relatively easy to work out once we've worked out our m. It's going to be the square root of m squared minus the product. So it's going to be the square root of, well, squaring a negative is the same thing as squaring a positive, so 350 squared minus our product, 53856. So what we get here is we get the square root of, let's just work that out, 350 squared minus 53856 gives us 68644, and we want to take the square root of that, and that gives us 262. Now we're in a position where we can work out our y1 and our y2, and then we'll be all good. y1 is going to be m minus d, so it's going to be negative 350, take away 262, which is negative 612, I believe. Yes. And our y2 is going to be our m plus our d, which of course is negative 350 plus 262, which is negative 88. Once we've got those two numbers, then we know how to split up that middle term. Bearing in mind that we know we have rigged it so that we are going to get the same bracket, that will help us know what factors we can take out. So let's just do that now. So we've changed this to 96x squared minus 88x minus 612x plus 561. Let's just rule a line down here so we don't get confused. And okay, 96x squared and 88x, what can we take out of that as a common factor? We can take out an 8x, can't we? So we're going to get 8x and we're going to get 12x minus 11. Now let that be a little hint to you of what bracket we're thinking we're going to get here. So don't dilly-dally about it. Work out what 612 divided by 12 is. That's easy to do if you have a calculator. And that gives you 51. So if I take out a minus 51 here, I know I'm going to get 12x. Let's just check that negative 51 times negative 11 does give us our positive 561, and yes, it does. So we're all good. So quite often you will have to look for clues here with your grouping, because there might be quite a few options involved. So that's going to be that quadratic factorised. Okay. Okay, let's try our second one now. Here again, we're going to use the method that we've just used. So let's get a different colour and proceed. So we want our two numbers to add up to this negative 458. So we want the sum to be negative 458, and we want their product to be AC, which of course is 136 times negative 195, which is 26520. Now we know that M is our sum divided by 2. So that's negative 458 divided by 2, which is negative 229. That's nice and easy to calculate that. Once we know our M, it's also quite easy to calculate D. So D is the square root of M squared minus the product. So in this case, it's going to be the square root of 229 squared. Doesn't matter whether it's negative or positive when you square it, minus our product. Now, in this case, if we're subtracting a negative, we're going to be adding something. So 26520. When we do that, we're going to get the square root of 78961, which of course is 281. So our first solution Y1 is M minus D, which is negative 229 minus 281, which is negative 510. And our second solution will be M plus D, which is our negative 229 plus 281, which comes to 52. Okay, so let's proceed. So this is going to be the same as 136x squared minus 510x plus 52x minus 195. Now it's easier to do the grouping with your second two terms here to start with, and that will then give you a clue. 13 goes into 52. We can check on our calculators. 13 also goes into 195. If we do 195 divided by 13, we get 15. So what we're going to get here is a 13, and we're going to get 4x minus 15. That gives us a hint as to what we're wanting to take out here. We're going to want to get a 4x minus 15 bracket here. Let's see if that will work. 136 divided by 4. Helps if you put the correct thing in your calculator, is 34. Let's just check, what is 34 times 15? Yes, that is 510. So we're all good. It all works out okay with our grouping, our first two terms and our second two terms. So when we factorise this, we get 4x minus 15, 34, x plus 13. I should have had an x taken out there as well. Now, obviously, these are at the very extreme end of what you would be ever asked to factorise. I don't think I've ever in my life been asked to factorise something quite that difficult before. However, I just wanted to show how well this technique works in splitting up that middle term in an appropriate way. Makes things a lot easier from then on. Yes, it might be a little bit hard with your grouping to work out what factors to bring out, but have a look at both pairs and see what you can come up with, bearing in mind that you have rigged it to get the same bracket. Okay, and there you have it. That's using that special trick method to find our magic numbers. I hope you enjoyed that. Thank you.